fellow citizens. Welcome to Talking Racine. I'm your host, Doc. I'm here tonight with Hickory and Dickory. And we've been asked, what are some of the things you're going to talk about on this show? So we decided that we're going to do just a little quick promo here and kind of give you some insights into some of the things we want to talk about. And of course, if you've got ideas of things that you would like to see discussed, you can come on in and discuss them with us, or just get in touch with us and give us the ideas. One of the things we want to talk about, of course, is all of these failed projects that have taken place in Racine that were always hyped up as going to be these great financial rewards that the taxpayers should invest in. And we've touched on that a little bit already with a couple of these projects. And Jim, what are some of the topics that you would like to see discussed, or some of the things we're planning on discussing?
One of the things that I was involved with was the minority bar lawsuit, and it was actually a business lawsuit, and I'd like to get into that a little bit, because there was a lot of information that was never given to the public. It was given to the Journal Times, but they never reported on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of information there that I'd like to, bring out in some episodes in the future.
Yeah, and there was, speaking of money, there was about $4.5 million spent by the city of Racine on that lawsuit?
Yep. It was $4.5 million. I think it was a $1.8 million settlement.
Yeah, that's worth a follow-up.
Yeah, there was some definite dollars that were exchanged, and that should be looked into a little deeper.
Plus, there's rumors that it was actually more than that 1-point-something million dollars, and that the city, to keep from looking like a group of
chumps.
Chumps.
Don't want to look like chumps.
Yeah, they made in the agreement that in the press release that the plaintiff would have to agree with what press release.
Oh yeah, that's a typical thing. We don't acknowledge.
Well,
guilt,
we have a lot of that
talk
documentation. We've got a lot of that documents, and there's some of that stuff is pretty surprising with what went on, and so I'd like to get behind the scenes and the money that was exchanged, and there's a little bit
there's a story there.
Oh, it gets a little bit dirty.
You want to give us a little history on the NAACP? I know that's been one of the more active organizations in town. Yeah.
In fact, it's the oldest civil rights organization in the nation. And our chapter here, our branch here, have been around for 5 decades. It began in the 50s under George Bray and some local community activists. And this year, they elected a new president, Dr. Darren Crenshaw, and we want to have him on to kind of give some of his visions and what he's thinking.
Well, I got some questions. I got some questions for NAACP because we got a little history.
Oh, good. Something I'd like to revisit is because my parents were involved in it. They portrayed Gilbert and Elmira Knapp. I don't know if you remember that for the sesquicentennial.
Yeah. Okay.
And they went around and they did a lot of promotional work for the marina and the festival hall. And I would like to go back and revisit that and see what the financial projections were for that project and what the actual reality has been down through the years. There's a lot of money that was involved in that. Another thing is these facade grants. A lot of people don't realize that there is money available to local businesses. I think it's to the tune of $20,000 per grant. Is that right?
Pretty close. Yeah.
Maybe 18?
15, 18, 20, somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues too.
And it's to dress up the front of your building.
Right, for small business. Yeah. And one of the issues that during that discussion that I'd like to bring forward is the fact that these type of programs are not promoted, especially in the minority community.
Mm-hmm.
You have this money available, and it's supposed to be available for all the businesses of the city, and it seems like a whole lot of friends and friendships are coming into to play.
Well, some people have gotten multiple grants for one building.
Let's go and let's just step forward. We've, as a group of individuals that I was involved, we filed some ethics complaints.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a real eye-opener as far as there are no ethics here. And I'd like to get into that a little bit, too, because I've got all the documentation on that. Wow, that was an eye-opener.
And then there's the UNIT, the Unified Neighborhood Inspection Team, is it, or Integration Team? What the heck is? What does the I stand for? Inspection, I think.
Inspection, yeah.
Yeah. They're the people that drive around town and check and see if you got a dandelion out in your yard, or a loose railing on your porch, or maybe some peeling paint on the back wall of your garage. and they can write you tickets and citations and cause you to do some repair work. That
You know,
may be,
another one.
You made a mistake.
I did.
Yeah. You said they
I knew
drive.
it was. I knew it was going to happen sooner.
You
or
said
later.
they drive around town. No, they target certain areas,
Right.
and they concentrate in those areas. And,
Yeah.
and fortunate or unfortunate, however you want to look at it, it's primarily the minority districts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we got some statistics on that. The other thing is the DRC, the Downtown
Redevelopment Corporation.
Exactly. There's another one that, I mean, how far do they spread? There's a private portion of that I don't think people understand. That's got its fingers up in Uptown and Douglas Avenue corridor, and there's some interesting dynamics that go on with that. So I'd like to have an episode on that.
Yeah, like where do they get the money for that?
Well,
And who
yeah.
gets the money?
Right. How's that money spread out? And who's really in control?
Yeah, and what exactly are they? What are they doing? I mean, are there? I know that I see these like
Well, there's some
flags on
great
the top
emails.
on the
I got some
streetlights.
great emails from the DRC that are
Yeah?
just like, whoa.
Okay,
So,
well, we-
so people won't think we just three people up here bitching about everything. I hope to try to get in touch with the 4th of July committee, and so people can be aware how they can get involved in the 4th of July parade and some of the
Yeah.
celebrations.
or any positive aspect of the community.
Right.
I mean, we're not just up here to complain about things. I mean,
Well, you know,
we'd be happy to
Well,
praise things.
you
that
know,
are
and
praiseworthy.
I agree with that. But here's the thing: sometimes, when you're an alcoholic, you have to name the fact that I'm an alcoholic, and the city of Racine's got trouble. They got to say, "Hey, we got troubles.
You
We got."
think this is a drunken town?
Well, I know that, but I mean beyond that. But you got to admit sometimes that you've got some problems, and those problems have to be corrected. And I mean, I think sometimes you need investigations, and I've called for an audit already. And
An audit would be a very good idea.
Yeah, I mean, let's get down to go back to the basics here, and let's start from the bottom. Let's take a look at where our kids are. Let's see if we can get something going for some of these young kids that are in the city. Now, we just talked about the county putting a park in somewhere. Well, they're not putting it in Racine, are they?
No, and you wonder. To my knowledge, I'm hearing that it's supposed to be near the Regency Mall area, and that's not within walking distance of
Right.
many of the kids that live in the inner city. It seems that here in Racine, we do not address the problems in our community.
And that's when I talk about an alcoholic needs to name, I'm an
Yeah.
alcoholic. So they got to say, hey, we're not addressing these problems.
What kind of a park are we talking about? Is this going to be over by Pritchard?
Yeah, it's county land that the county owned. They talking about putting up, I guess, a soccer field, baseball,
Yeah,
a whole
right.
complex.
Oh, kind of like we were talking about over at the old Racine
Racine Steel
Steel
Casting.
Casting.
Same thing, but different location.
Yeah, but
I
you know
bet
what
there'll
else?
be soccer fields and no basketball courts.
Yeah, you know what'd be good over at Racine Steel Castings? Though we talked about this one day at lunch.
Yeah.
A community garden,
That's another one.
and
Right.
and really get some of those kids out of the Racine Youth Center, which is right across the street, to come in and work in the garden and maybe exchange some labor for time served.
Not only that, you can teach them the basics of business, how to produce and then how to market
Right.
your product
Yeah,
and how to
absolutely.
actually sell it to the community. And that it's a product that without the
Well, and
different
I'll tell you,
chemicals and
there's
stuff,
nothing
right.
like a garden to see what your investment of work results in.
Right.
You know, I mean, you work on a garden and then you've got food. I mean, it's very, very direct.
Right.
It's not like getting a job somewhere for minimum wage.
There's
and then going out and buying
Right.
hamburgers.
We're spending money on, on the people that are gonna that can go to Chicago, can go to Milwaukee, they can go to these venues that are going to be much better than what we can produce in Racine. But yet, for anybody who can't leave the community or is economically restricted, there's nothing here for them. And they want to know when a bar opens up, it's swamped with people because there's nothing there.
Well, and speaking of
Or
bars,
a recreational event opens up, and then it's
we've
like, well,
got taverns opening up, new taverns opening up in this town. There's 2 just on Douglas Avenue that I know about.
Right.
And we're already overissued on tavern licenses.
Right.
What the heck is
Well,
that? I mean, I'm not opposed to taverns and going out and having a good time, maybe have a couple of drinks, but really, is that the only kind of businesses that we we're going
Well,
to
we
be
can
left
get
with
into
around here?
we're going to get into some of the taverns. You know, I mean, there's a multiple episodes that we can do on. I mean, we got depositions. We've got video
I think we should
depositions.
go in and do an on-site.
I'd love
Yeah.
to.
Speaking of taverns, we have a business in Racine that already exists, Twins, that's on 16th Street, and they was willing to put a $1 million project on Washington Avenue next to Popeye chicken
Right.
business. And one of the things the city turned it down, talking about it was too many liquor license, being issued. So
What were they
here-
going to put there? Was it
yeah.
going to be a convenience store? Or?
It was going to be a convenience store, a cell phone store. It was just going to. It was going to be
Similar to what other gas
Yeah,
station convenience stores are kind
Right.
of like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they going to sell
know.
gasoline? Is that what it is too? Or?
Yeah, and I guess my issue is that,
Gasoline's an afterthought at a gas station these
Yeah,
days.
right.
but it's kind of odd that the city kind of is getting into the protection. I call it the protection of businesses, because you do have a similar business about 4 or 5 blocks
Right.
away from that. And I think one of the things that, for the city is to promote development.
Why do you
Rather
think?
than,
I don't want to get into a big subject here, but why do you think that one was turned down? I mean, what was the purpose? I mean, I see these bars up and down Douglas Avenue opening like popcorn.
yeah.
Why was this
Yeah.
one turned down?
One of the things that I hope to do with the series here is invite the owners,
Oh, that'd
the
be
one that was going to actually be doing the
Right.
development. And with the lack of development in Racine, I just can't see the fact that we are turning down
Well,
development.
we got development coming. We
Yeah.
got some
Yeah.
floaters that are going to be coming down Root
Right.
River from Waukesha. We should really look at that. The Root River Consul.
No, they promised to clean that water up before they
you
put
know,
it back
hey,
in the river.
I'll tell you what I would do. I would make a proclamation that no one from Waukesha is allowed in the city of Racine. I would make it crazy, because hell, you're going to send your
That's crazy.
wastewater down the river, and we're going to be. I mean,
Well, listen, our wastewater plant, the water that we put into the lake is cleaner than the lake once it goes through the processing plant.
we
So
have a lot of
presumably they're going to
filters.
do that up in Waukesha.
But, we have a lot of filters in that Racine wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
Why? Why are we the best tasting water?
Yeah.
Well,
about
wait,
that.
no, you're confusing.
I know
your-
sewage and water. I know there's
two different things.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Although the
still-
water that comes out of the sewage plant is drinkable.
I'm still trying to figure out
Get a
what
glass
you
here, and you can have some.
No, I'm
We'll
not
put one out here
interested in
for
it, but
you.
I've seen people
I'm
do it.
still trying to figure out what you mean when you say floaters coming down the river.
I think everybody's got the floater figured out. Don't you?
Okay.
I don't know, black
didn't-
community don't know what
I'm
floaters
kinda-
is.
Yeah.
You've been swimming in a pool. It's like whoa.
Let's just say you ain't talking about wildlife.
But one of the touchy issues that we want to talk about, and we are not afraid to tackle, is that a divide in Racine? Is a racial divide that exists?
What do you mean we're not afraid? I don't want to talk about
Well, you
that.
know, there's another one. Let's talk about retaliation.
Yeah.
Oh, man, let me
man,
get into that one.
Listen, I'll tell you, I was talking to somebody just today about this program, and you know what his first question was? Aren't you afraid of retaliation?
And
I
let me
said,
tell you,
"Oh,
folks,
man,
it's real. And we got some guests coming on that are going to help us out with that one.
Yeah, and you have some people that's sitting up here now that already know about it.
Well,
So-
all three of
so-
us have been deposed. All
That's right.
three of us have had all our emails yanked. All three of us have been through a lot.
But
You know.
those are touchy issues that we plan to discuss in the lawsuit, the bar lawsuit.
World of
the-
information there.
In some of the deposition, the usage of the N word
Yeah.
came up, but our mayor said at the time that he could assure the public that he was going to do a full investigation and is going to make it public.
Oh yeah, there was a
You-
committee being formed, and he
He
knew.
can assure. He can assure is his words. I can assure you, told Channel 4.
Well, he knew what the result was going to be
Before he even did it.
Before the committee even had met,
But after a year,
showing that there was no.
Well, I'd like to
We
show
have-
him. I'd like to show him some emails.
after a year, we still do not.
It's more than a year. Wasn't,
Yeah,
wasn't
not-
it a year in this past spring?
Right.
Oh, hey,
He haven't
I got a
made.
We'll have
he
to go back
haven't
and check on the
decided.
dates on that.
why is Tom Friedel leaving early? It's $10,000 a month he makes, and he's cutting out early. Why?
I don't
that
know.
the-
Maybe
is
he's
that
tired of working
the
for his
cousin?
cousin.
the chief of staff. He's the chief of staff for the city.
City administrator.
City administrator.
Yeah.
Isn't he the kin to the mayor?
He's the cousin.
Cousin, yeah.
Well, come on, man.
Kin folks. Oh,
You know,
okay.
Yeah.
nepotism.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole other list of things here too that we should review. You know, things that were touted as big productions here in Racine: Point Blue, Delta Hawk, the Imaginarium, the Porter Project. Of course, we've already touched on Marine Machinery Row, Riverbend Lofts, which was a housing project that went under, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Went
that was a
under
big-
where it's at now. I think it's rentals and purchases. I'm not
It
sure.
was a big development project. How about Racine Police Community Relations? You know, I mean, there have been lawsuits against members of the police department for violence against citizens. I've even talked to some people who have experienced that and been very, very badly injured by policemen.
And don't forget the monorail to the hood.
Oh yeah. Is that going to be built when? In the spring they breaking ground on that? Or I guess a monorail you would actually break sky.
Right.
Gotta get air rights.
That was
We're
it.
working on air rights.
That was
Well,
introduced-
they're gonna break wind.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, that was an introduction by one of the 4th District aldermen, you know.
But there are some great things that
Have
Racine
you got a
has.
bone to pick with a 4th District alderman or something?
No, by no means.
But we do have some great things at Racine, and we should really, there's
Yeah.
a lot to talk about that are positive. And I got some ideas that, there's some of these are wild and some are crazy, but some of them are really doable and relatively inexpensive. We don't have to spend. We don't have a lot of money in Racine. We're overtaxed for the values. The
Well, we have
statistics here-
$82 million a year that goes through the city coffers. Well,
Correct.
what do we got for it?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, we got somebody going to come in and talk about the budget. We're going to
Well, how-
dissect that budget.
How much did we spend on City Hall remodeling that? It was a couple $1 million, wasn't it?
Well, we can go into the bathrooms.
Yeah.
We got a granite. We got a lot of granite in the city of
Is
Racine.
you
it
said the
granite or
gran-
marble?
Granite.
Granite?
We got
Yeah.
a lot of granite.
And some of it's on Monument
Monument
Square.
Square.
What about the?
Right around the the city hall. There's some even on the new road that just was opened up on Northwestern Avenue.
Speaking of City Hall, something I don't understand is those vertical like bird cages or whatever the heck they got
Well,
on that little roundabout
That's
hump.
something where Ken's going to leave the table here. We start talking a little bit deeper.
Oh, okay.
That's the Masons.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
I was
Masonic
under the
symbolism.
impression that the aliens had
No, that's the Masons.
put those there.
You think we're going to do an episode on the Masons in Racine? I think that one is going to be a little eye opener too.
And it's not Corey Mason.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
worry,
really,
Corey. It's
Corey
not
Owen
about
or
you.
something.
Yeah, it's something else. But there's plenty to talk about. Absolutely. Well, another thing that just came to mind was the safety building. They're talking about building a new safety building. And I think what was the money that was allotted? $60,000 to study?
Oh, that's not. I think we've got $100,000 to study Metra in the budget. Like Metra, wasn't that done? I mean, how was that we
Yeah.
should be doing a study on that? Where is that money, and how's that money being appropriated? And who's doing it, and how are you related?
$100,000. I could study it for that. You know?
I can tell you right now, it's not working. Okay, write me a check for
Well,
$10.
yeah.
I'll take $10 for that.
Yeah, I think
It's
many
got to
of
be more than a verbal evaluation. You know, you got to have some.
Okay, I'll write it down.
Gotta
on
have some paper.
Won't work. 25.
yeah, I think many of the people that's out there viewing us have ideas and things that they might want us to talk
Let the
about.
spirit of people come forward. The more people you get involved, the better it works, and the more ideas you get, and the more harmony you have in a community.
Yeah.
People solve people problems. People create great things. Let that human spirit soar. Truthfully.
That's very poetic.
I had
Write
the
that
mayor to tell me, and he also spoke at a event, and he said if you and he take issue at people that talks about some of the things that not that great about Racine, but I think
like Trump?
I think and believe that if we truly want to make Racine a great place to live, then we have to understand
Become
and be
honest.
open and talk
Well,
about
we have to recognize some of the things
problems.
that are keeping it from being great now.
right.
I mean, it's not that you got just a blank piece of paper and you just, you come in and you write great on it and everything's great.
Yeah.
No, there's some issues that need to be taken care of that stand between us and greatness. And if anybody out there has ideas that they want to share with us, come on board. You know, we'd be happy to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, this is a free and
It's
open
wide
forum.
open.
Yep.
Wide open. We're willing to have you come on the show and
So with that, you know, if the mood strikes you and you feel moved by the idea, get a hold of us and we'll get you on and we'll have a conversation. Thanks for watching.